Well, good morning, everyone. I'm Jan Erickson from Stepping Aside, and welcome to Somewhat Daily Tarot and Rune for the 8th day of May, 2019. Well, on this day in 1930, my mother was born. She died on April 30th of 1996, so a month before her 66th birthday. I wrote a little bit about it in the current moon post on the blog Stepping Aside over at imsteppingaside.com, so if you want to check that out, it's up. I did do it. I almost did a tarot reading first, but I still have that yet to do. I have transplanting and gardening tasks to do every day, so I don't know. It's going to be a little while before I'm not transplanting and weeding and all of that. You know that old wives' tale that says, if you wash your car, it rains? Well, I think we need to update that to if you wash your hair, the sky is filled with chemtrails. I've been posting them over on Twitter, pictures of the chemtrails in the sky. Oregon is just covered with them. Yeah, I can't speak to other states, but I assume it's everywhere. But I know right now we have air quality alerts almost every single day, and they last for several days at a time. Air stagnation and all of that. We get a lot of inversion around here, particularly in the, well, I mean, it happens in the winter too, but it happens in the summer. A lot of the time, you know, we have a lot of fires in the area. And in fact, the joke around here in Central Oregon is there's two seasons, winter and August, and if you throw in fire season, there's three. It's really true. Central Oregon gardening is not for the faint of heart, I can tell you that. Timing is everything. Otherwise, you're out there watering in the middle of the night, trying to keep, build up an ice layer on your plants so that it'll all then, you can water the ice off and it'll actually protect the plants, believe it or not. Or you're out there covering, and usually around here there's wind, so we're having to cover with those frost blankets, in the wind. So that's always fun. And yet we still garden. Well, so far this week, on Monday, we had the cards were talking about change, specifically some loss, and then a new direction. And then yesterday, the cards were suggesting that we go within. Even the rune got into play with Isa and alignment. We saw the hermit retreating and aligning to his source presence, going within to find the truth. Seems like we're having to do a lot of that these days, aren't we? Let's get started and do the first card. If this is your first time here, welcome. I appreciate you so much coming and visiting with us today. And if you've come back, thank you. You know I appreciate you so much. So we're going to take the 13th card each time, and we're going to draw 3 cards and a rune. Sometimes we even draw 4 cards. Well, we have the Page of Swords. We've started with a, I think, yes, we've started out with a court card every day this week so far. 2 queens. I was hoping we would get a queen each day, but this time it's the Page of Swords. So a message. Pages are about messages anyway, but particularly when it's the Page of Swords, they're about youth, they're about students, it can mean a pregnancy. Otherwise, they represent a young person, but usually of a student level. Then you come to the knight, and they're older. They've received their training, and now they're going out, and they're on their grail quest, championing whatever cause they're doing, building their life. And then you come to the queen and the king, people of authority, more settled in their lives. But apparently, I think we're going to have a message today. We'll see what the rest of the cards say. Court cards, they really need something to interact with. So just having one card, isn't really enough. I started this whole series out doing just one card and one rune, and it was like, oh my God, I can't. I have to have more because then I was drawing court cards. And what are you going to do with that? You have to have something to play off them for them to really mean anything, I think, anyway. I suppose not necessarily, but I don't know. I just think that they're really interactive cards. Let's do the next card, though. And if you're new to tarot, I'm using the Rider-Waite deck. Rider-Waite is the Rider-Waite or Rider-Waite-Smith is the traditional deck in the tarot that's used. A lot of them have built off of them. Maybe a little like, say, for example, the Robin Wood Tarot is very close in terms of symbols and the drawings and all of that. But there's just you can see the author in, you can see the deck's creator in the deck. I think it's just a beautiful deck. But for consistency's sake, I've been using the Rider-Waite here. On the blog, though, I use all kinds of different tarot decks to do. Anyhow, we have the Ace of Cups. So the genesis of new emotion. You see the Dove of Peace below. A hand is reaching out from the clouds. A familiar theme, really, in tarot. The waters of life spill forth. But Cups is about our emotions. It's about generosity. It could be about, anything emotion related. The aces are also said to contain all aspects of the suit. But basically, when you see the Ace of Cups, you're talking abundance and fertility, psychic gifts and love. But it's the emotional beginning, the emotional identity within, I guess you could say. It's the beginning of that, or the genesis of that. It's about emotional and spiritual nourishment, joy and contentment. So maybe the message is we're going to be moving in that direction here today, or maybe for the next few days. The moon is in Cancer right now, so no emotion there. Dealing with maybe some wounding over the next few days while the moon's in Cancer. And the 5th house of children, pleasure, and all of that. You might feel compelled to go out and, have some fun. But if you feel like, if you're feeling a little emotionally, if your emotions are in flux, you're feeling a little bit out of sorts or whatever, feeling a little sensitive, if you're feeling a little tearful, it's just the moon. So, honor those feelings if you're feeling it. And, don't try to do more than you really want to. A lot of the time we live in service to others to a certain extent, and that's fine. But when it's about doing things that we really don't want to do just to please someone else, well, sure, there's a time and a place for that, but maybe not for the next couple of days. Maybe for the next couple of days, it's okay to think about nurturing the self. And if you're feeling up to it, nurture others as well. But, if you're not, then that's okay too. Let's do the 3rd card. Well, we have the Queen of Pentacles. Did we have her already? We did. We had her on Monday. So I think that she's in a much better place than she was on Monday, maybe, because there she was possibly experiencing some loss, the loss of a settled life, maybe. With today is an 8 day, so we're looking at the awareness of the greater aspect of self, basically. So it's a different level of harmony within. It includes, harmony with others, understanding the other side of self. It also involves leadership skills. It's very pragmatic in that respect, and so the Queen of Pentacles sort of aligns, I think, with that today. Being a Wednesday, we're talking a mercurial influence, and so any magic's work today would involve communication, possibly improving communication. Uh, we're in the just post new moon phase, and so we're kind of looking at the waxing moon here. So maybe a message of love, perhaps. Maybe your family, maybe your kids are going to come and visit you. If you're a mom, maybe they're going to come and visit you on Mother's Day. Maybe that's what this is about. But what I love about this particular queen, even though she's not looking directly at the observer, I love her throne, number one. I've said that before. I love, though, that she just sits in solitude. I mean, there's abundance around her, but it's not lavish. Now, if you looked at the King of Pentacles, you would see a similarly looking card, but there's much more evidence of manifested abundance, and he's displaying it. She's not necessarily doing that as much. She's just sitting there very quietly. She's like the Dowager Queen in a way, isn't she? Although she's younger than that. Let's look at the rune. My husband's out mowing the backyard. We have so much to mow that it takes him several days to do it. Yeah, I think that what we're talking about here, we've got either a new direction or a new message, a new idea with the Page of Swords, having to do with love and abundance and fulfillment, or the genesis of something new along those lines. And then it results in the Queen, where I mean, she really has this settled life that's filled with abundance and compassion and concern for other people. We have Birkenau. Birkenau is the 18th rune of the Elder Futhark. It's a 9 energy, so completion. It's about fertility and abundance. It's the Earth Mother rune. Sort of aligns really well with the Queen of Pentacles. So I don't know, maybe this is a Mother's Day reading. Hopefully, if that's the case, hopefully you get to see your kids this weekend and they come and tell you how much they love you. If not, then maybe you need to go see your mom, tell her how much you love her. I just think that what we have here is an indication of abundance and joy and contentment, um, and family, and again a sense of completion. We don't assign numbers to the court. If we did, the page would be an 11, the Queen would be a 13. So if it was an 11, we wouldn't reduce that anyway. That's the master number for illumination. So in a very real sense, that's what the page is here to do, to illuminate our way, to enlighten us, to illuminate our path. Otherwise, numerologically, you're looking at a 1 for the ace, and with Birkenau again, that's a 9. So 10, that reduces to 1. So new beginnings. And there definitely is a sense here of something new on the horizon, having to do with abundance or joy or contentment or love or happiness. maybe surrounding the queen. And I only say, since Mother's Day is Sunday, this may have to do with that. It may not, if you're not blessed to have your children in your lives, or if you don't have any kids, or they live too far away or whatever. Maybe you don't see them as often as you'd like, or hear from them as often as you'd like. It could be an indication that maybe there's someone is going to announce a pregnancy in a family. Could also have something to do with that. Particularly the page paired with the Ace of Cups and the Queen of Pentacles and Birkenau. It could be that. So you could be hearing about some news about maybe an upcoming birth. We just had a birth in the royal family, didn't we? Yes, Harry and Meghan had a baby boy. We don't know yet. I haven't heard yet what his name is, or we haven't seen him yet. But Harry came out and said some things and was adorable, and so so that's very cool. Well, that's interesting. Maybe the new direction that we're building on, from Monday, maybe aligning yesterday sort of brought everything into perspective. But it does feel like we may be building on that here. So maybe a new perspective was achieved, and maybe people can come together. I don't know. But it feels like a joining here. I wonder what a geomancy rune would tell me. Let me see. Here's where my book is here. I'm going to do a quick geomancy thing here. So I have, so far, oh my goodness, do I have Via? Oh, I do. Okay, new path. Yeah, so I just did a geomancy glyph here, and you can check out the geomancy reading on the blog. I do a monthly one every month. I'll do a geomancy reading for the month, and you can get an idea of what that's all about. It's just another form of divination that I do. But I just threw, you can do them with sticks. You can do them anyway, really. But I have some sticks that I've done, some little staves, like Om staves. And then I've also done them as runes. And you have a dual dots, two dots on one side and one on the other. And then you put them in order of uh, element. So it's fire, air, water, and earth. And then from there, you throw the four, and then you put them in that order, and that's your glyph. And in this case, 4 single dots is the Via glyph, and that's about it's an active principle, but it's about path or direction or way are the keywords for that. And so I think that it basically confirms that we're on a new direction here. Hopefully one that's the foundation is love and unity and joy and contentment and fertility and abundance and all of that good stuff. So that's cool. Maybe I'll start doing that. Add a little geomancy into the whole thing. Anyway, well, groovy. Well, okay, I guess that's it. I guess that I don't really have anything else to say about it. I'm just trying to sit here and think if there's any obscure thing. I write everything down, just to see because there could be some obscure thing I've written down that some other tarot reader has discovered just based on the reading itself, maybe some interactive types of things with the cards. And so you just never know. There could be some weird reference that I have that sort of ties us all together or brings a new element to it. But I don't think so. I think I like that there's a progression here. And I like it's in the direction that it's going. We need that, don't we? So with any luck, this is a Mother's Day one. And your Sunday will be filled with love and joy and family and all of that. So in any event, I'm going to go ahead and I guess I'm going to get out and start watering. That's the first thing I have to do. I was out there at the greenhouse, and I watered some. I planted some marigold seeds yesterday. We did a bunch of transplanting and whatnot, and we're going to put in a couple new beds. But uh, one of them is going to have a bunch of grapes in them. We've really gotten into growing grapes, and we also finally found some huckleberry plants. We've never found any around here, but a Wilco store moved in, and they had them, and so we bought 4 huckleberry plants. My husband's just thrilled. He loves huckleberry, and we have blackberry and raspberry and strawberry and all of that. But we also have elderberry now, which I don't know if it's going to bloom this year or not. It might. The Vitex won't probably bloom this year, so we have that as well. But it's really cool, to grow all that stuff, and the hops plants that we found there also. Just nobody else has that kind of stuff around here, and I don't know why. I mean, everybody grows hops around here. So, I mean, Oregon is like the beer capital of the world now. So the little micro craft breweries are everywhere, and they're here in Central Oregon as well. So, I don't know why the stores don't have them, but they often don't. And I've always had to order that stuff online, which just get the little small rhizomes. So these were just massive plants, and they're very cool. So we've been out taking care of those and getting everything ready. So anyhow, that's what we'll be doing today and for the foreseeable future. So anyhow, we'll see you tomorrow. Be good. Thank you so much for coming by. Be good to yourself. Be good to one another, and blessed be.